Hello and welcome to my Jungle Evelyn guide. I'll be going over everything I can think of really, her abilities, her runes, how to gank, how to team fight, all that stuff, and of course how to build her. So in this guide I'll just be going over tips and tricks, how to properly use her abilities. I'll have lots of in-game examples to try and make things interesting for you guys, and I just want to show how I play Evelyn and how it's really got me a lot of wins in ranks, and hopefully you guys can do the same. I don't know. I just want to say before we start though, as a kind of disclaimer, I am a silver scrub, so don't take everything I say too literally, as while it works for me, it might not work for you, and I'm not a Challenger Pro. Anyway, let's get on to the first bit of the guide, which will be runes and masteries. So starting with runes, you're going to want magic pen marks, because Evelyn is mainly AP, movement speed quints, because movement speed is amazing and I use it in my jungle tactic, and of course armor yellows, and then just some magic resist per level blues, so basic stuff. On to masteries, I take a lot of points in the offensive tree because I like good clear speed, and then just basic points in defensive for some tankiness. I also have movement speed and utility because all junglers should have that really, it's really useful. I take a lot of points in offensive because with Evelyn's high base stats it really works well. Okay, after we've got runes and mastery sorted, we'll go on to the abilities and what you should be maxing. So, first is her abilities. Obviously you've got the passive, whole reason that Evelyn's amazing right now. Her Q, basically her main ability, this is where all her damage comes from and it applies on hit effects. Her W is such a nice ability, it makes her one of the best chasers in the game, giving her a nice passive and an active, and it just allows you to stick to anything, escape anything, and it even removes all movement impairing effects. Her E is quite nice. You can max that sometimes. I'll go on to maxing in a minute. It's quite bursty, has good early game damage and gives you an attack speed buff, so very nice damagey ability here. And then your ult is basically the whole reason Evelyn can even be considered an engager in the first place. It gives her a shield depending on the amount of champions hit, and it deals percentage current health damage to everyone hit in an AoE, and it slows, and it's just brilliant. You know, when you jump out of your stealth, ult people, you know, W in, start, you know, killing their AD carry. You can build an assassin Evelyn if you want to go mid or something, but this is a jungle guide, so I'll stick to that. But yeah, her abilities, I think she has a really nice kit. Anyway, so first you want to max your Q all the time, because like I said, it's where all her damage comes from, and if you ever want to have a hope of killing shit on your own, or even in ganks with other people, you're going to need to max your Q. Next, I like to max my W, because it does get underrated, I think. It's really strong. At max rank, it's a 70% movement speed buff, and 20 movement speed whenever you deal damage to an enemy champion, stacking up to 4 times. So if you have 4 stacks and then W, your movement speed is insane. Nothing's going to escape you, nothing's going to be able to chase you, and it makes you a brilliant engager. I think it's really useful. And then last, you max your E, and while it is useful for jungle Evelyn, I don't think it's that important, but if you're going assassin Evelyn, you may want to consider that. Then of course, max your ult whenever you can. Okay, on to build. Your starting items, obviously just the standard jungle thing with the warding totem. Then on your first pack, you always want to get the upgrade, the Spirit Stone, as it gives you sustain, which is something Evelyn lacks. And then boots for more movement speed, because that's just a brilliant stat on anyone, especially junglers. Then of course just pick up wards and health pots where you can. Maybe a mana pot, but that's not too important. Then your core build, you're going to want it to be the tanky jungler item to give you some actual tank. Then I like to go sorcerer shoes for some early game damage. You don't really need that much AP early game because of your high stats. And then haunting guys is just such a nice item. It gives health, ability power, and magic pen. What more do you want? I really like it on Evelyn, and it works well on a lot of other champions too. Then of course you go into situational, so if an AD person's fed, you just go Zhonya's and then Abyssal Scepter, but other way around if AP people are fed. And then to finish off, you just upgrade your haunting guys and get a death cap. That's how I like to build Evelyn. It's quite tanky, in fact it's very tanky. Almost all your items give you tank, and all your items give you damage as well, or almost all. And I just think it works really well, because after you've got one of these items, you've got like 2.5k health, about 200 AP, you know, you're a tank-ish, you're basically an AP bruiser, but because of your abilities you're a brilliant initiator as well, just as good as a tank. Okay, starting the game, you want to obviously take your Q first all the time, as it's your core ability, and start the standard jungler items, and then you want to take a ward, trinket, because it's really useful. Then you want to shout at your team to have a nice strong pull, and you might want to explain why, that's your choice, but obviously it's important. After you've taken blue, you take your W second, so you have loads and loads of movement speed to very quickly get to their red. That's right, we're going to their red, so I do this all the time as Eve. Instead of going to your red, go to their red, take it before they get there. You get there very quickly because combined with your W and your movement speed, Masteries and Quints, you're there very quickly. You want to make sure you align your Q to hit the red buff obviously, because then you probably won't kill it in time. With the reduced cooldown and smite, you can use it just as soon as it hits around 400 health, smite it and then just get out of there very quickly. Now you have their red buff, they don't even know yet, and then you can just rush to your red buff, put the wards down, so you can catch them if they try to take your red, and then just use Wraith to get that level 3. Now sometimes, you know, worst case scenario, you'll get there, start doing the red, and then all of a sudden they turn up and you kind of panic. Now, because I'm Evelyn and have loads of movement speed, unless they have hard CC like a Jarvan, you can get out of there very quickly. Sometimes they start red, in which case, you know, I should have realised that, but that happens sometimes, but just start red and go to their blue. In this example, this is a kind of stupid, a level 3 dive from the Alistar, but the only reason this works is because we had an Alistar mid for some reason. I think this is a perfect example for how good my W is. So, Alistar goes in, we melt the Yasuo, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, and then my W resets, I jump on Caitlyn. She does slow me, but because of the passive of my W, I'm able to keep up with her, kill her, and then use my reset at W again to get away from the tower, getting up 2 kills at level 3. Now, the reason that Evelyn's strong in the first place here is because of her passive, and she's able to go in without them even knowing anytime she wants. Now, we go in here, we get a kill there, that's my red buff killing Severe, and then we get another kill on the Fresh as John is CC and mine and Corky's damage combined. Early game, no one can really do much about it. Now this bit's kind of funny. I find a Aatrox doing my red and I just want to show off my passive here. So I'm kind of screaming for my team to help me with pings, but before I just go in and try and fight him, because I won't win, he's quite fed, I just sit there with my passive, he has no idea I'm there, wait for him to do the red buff because he's doing it weird and he's kind of retarded. When he's applied some damage, just jump in, smite it, he's probably quite surprised, then I fight him and he just runs away as then my teammates are finally there. Here's another example with my passive. I can just go in, ult him, I get loads of damage off even with his lifesteal. Unfortunately he kills Yorick and then just uses his passive, but then Yorick uses his ult and we've secured the kill eventually here. So that's another example of how strong Evelyn's passive can be. And then I think here's the last one where this is the same bot lane. I just run in, again they have no idea I'm there and they've already started the fight. We go in with my W and passive, we pick up a kill, and then again I flash W, chase after the Severe, I'm far too fast to her and kill her. Here's an example of a team fight. I catch out the Garen who's out of position, use my ult which gives me a brilliant blood shield I use to get away, and then they secure the kill on Garen. And here's another brilliant fight where my ult comes in, I get loads of damage off on the 2 people, and then with our AoE we just decimate them. Team fight example here, this is just full 5v5, I think this was the game deciding team fight. And I go in, Evelyn's a brilliant initiator, use your ult at the start because it's current percentage health, meaning if they're all full health it's like max percent, and with our brilliant engages we go in and we just win the fight.